Hi Nana. In this video we will learn about the uses of sulfuric acid. Okay, so how sulfuric acid is useful? See, if you see the uses of sulfuric acid, these uses can be studied under two headings. One is industrial use, and general uses. And second type of uses are called as general or else general uses. Okay, so if you see about the industrial uses, so here this is this sulfuric acid it is used in the manufacturing of fertilizers. It is used in the manufacturing of fertilizers. Okay, it is also used in the manufacturing of explosives. It is also used in the manufacturing of explosives. Okay, right? It is also used in the manufacturing of plastic, in the manufacturing of some plastics and artificial fibers or else synthetic fibers. Artificial or synthetic fibers. So synthetic fibers can be prepared with the help of sulfuric acid. In the manufacturing of dyes and drugs. Okay, in the manufacturing of dyes and drugs. Okay, and also in the manufacturing of acids. Okay, in the manufacturing of acids or else to prepare acids. In the manufacturing of to prepare acids. So etc. So now we will learn some points regarding the manufacturing of fertilizers. So generally, what fertilizers are? What type of fertilizers are prepared from this sulfuric acid? See, so this is the largest use of sulfuric acid. So this is the single largest use of sulfuric acid in the it is nothing but manufacturing of fertilizers. Okay, so these uses are somewhat less, but the sulfuric acid, it is extensively used in the manufacturing of fertilizers, particularly the fertilizer known as ammonium sulfate. Ammonium sulfate. What is the formula of ammonium sulfate? NH4 taken twice SO4. So this is used as a fertilizer, ammonium sulfate, and also it is used in the manufacturing of another fertilizer known as superphosphate of lime. Superphosphate of lime. Superphosphate of lime. So if you see the superphosphate of lime, it is also called as calcium dihydrogen phosphate. It is also called as calcium dihydrogen phosphate. Phosphate. Okay, calcium dihydrogen phosphate. So calcium dihydrogen, that means calcium dihydrogen phosphate. See, dihydrogen phosphate. So it will have the dihydrogen phosphate, it will have only -1 charge on it. calcium will have +2 charge on it. So what is the formula I can write? So I can write this 2 here and 1 here. So finally calcium dihydrogen phosphate's formula will be like this. Calcium dihydrogen phosphate, and it is also mixed with the calcium sulfate. Okay, so the mixture of these two will act as superphosphate of lime. So the mixture of calcium dihydrogen phosphate along with the calcium sulfate, so it is called as superphosphate of lime. Okay, so it is one of the best fertilizer. Okay, phosphate fertilizer, it is called as best phosphate fertilizer. So ammonium sulfate, it is a nitrogen fertilizer because it is having nitrogen in it. It will provide nitrogen, a sufficient amount of nitrogen to the plants, and superphosphate of lime, it will provide sufficient amount of phosphorus to the plants. Okay, so like this. So these two are the fertilizers. These two fertilizers are manufactured from sulfuric acid. Okay, right. Next, sulfuric acid is also used in the manufacturing of explosives. Different explosives can be manufactured from sulfuric acid. For example, trinitrotoluene, explosives like trinitrotoluene. Already we have seen the structure of this trinitrotoluene. Suppose this is benzene. Okay, on benzene ring, if CH3 group is present, then this is called as toluene. This is called as toluene. On benzene ring, if CH3 group is present, it is called as toluene. So on para positions, this is NO2 group. NO2. Don't think don't imagine it as O2N. So it is actually this structure is directly attached to nitrogen. So from nitrogen onwards we have to read this group. So hence it is NO2 group. Okay, NO2 group. There are 3 NO2 groups. Hence it is called a trinitro. NO2 group means nitro group. Hence the name is called as trinitrotoluene, because there are 3 nitro groups. Nitro group means NO2 group is called as nitro group. Nitro. It is called as nitro group. Okay. So this is an explosive. Trinitrotoluene, it is an explosive. Actually, this is formed with the help of sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is used in this process because sulfuric acid, concentrated sulfuric acid, when it is mixed with this nitric acid, so finally during this reaction it produces nitro group, and this nitro group is attached to this toluene, and finally, so that means this sulfuric acid helps the formation of nitro group from nitric acid. Okay, that means, so in this process, for the formation of nitro groups, so sulfuric acid is useful. So like this. So from when nitro groups are formed, they will attach to this one toluene, and finally they form trinitrotoluene. Okay, right. Next, another explosive known as trinitroglycerin. Another explosive, trinitrophenol. It is also called as picric acid. It is also called as picric acid. Trinitroglycerin. This is also another explosive. So like this, these are some of the explosives. So like this, some explosives can also be prepared, can also be manufactured with the help of sulfuric acid. Okay, right. See, plastics and synthetic fibers can also be prepared, can also be manufactured during the manufacturing of these plastics or else synthetic fibers. For example, take for plastics, take cellophane tapes. Generally, we use these cellophane tapes for different purposes. Okay, cellophane tapes we'll use. Okay, cellophanes. Cellophane is one type of a plastic material. Okay, synthetic rubber, even synthetic rubber. Synthetic rubber. These are also plastic. So such plastics, in the preparation of such plastics, sulfuric acid is used. Okay, synthetic fibers. Synthetic fibers means fibers like artificial fibers, like nylon, terylene. Okay, nylon, terylene, rayon, polyester, etc. So these are some of the synthetic fibers, or else they are also called as artificial fibers. So these fibers can be manufactured. So in the manufacturing of these fibers, sulfuric acid helps. Okay, sulfuric acid is used in this process. And even in dyes and drugs, actually suppose if you take coal, when this coal is heated to very high temperatures, so here from coal there are three type of substances are formed. Okay, solid substances are formed. Solid substances which are obtained when coal is heated to very high temperatures. The solid substance which is formed, it is called as the coke. The liquid substance which is formed, liquid substances are also formed. Okay, so this is called as coal tar, and some gaseous substances are also formed. So these substances are called as coal gas. So like this, upon heating coal to very high temperatures, so that process is called as destructive distillation of coal. When coal is destructively distillated, what happens from this coal? So three different substances are formed. Solid form of this coal is called as coke. The liquid form of this coal is called as coal tar. In Telugu, this coal tar is called as a dambaru. That means this dambaru is used for laying roads. Okay, dambar road, like this. And even some gaseous substances are also formed from coal. They are called as coal gas. See, these dyes and drugs, they are obtained from coal tar. See, from coal tar, listen carefully. From coal tar, we can produce different chemicals. So different chemical substances can be obtained from. Okay, different chemical substances are formed or they are produced from coal tar. From coal tar, different chemical substances are produced. And when these chemical substances which are obtained from coal tar, these are called as derivatives of coal tar. They are called as derivatives of coal tar. Okay, when these derivatives of coal tar, when they are made to react with sulfuric acid, okay, when these derivatives of coal tar, when they are reacted with sulfuric acid, when they are made to react with sulfuric acid, what do you get? We'll get dyes, we'll get some dyes, we'll get some drugs. All these dyes or drugs which are obtained synthetically, these are obtained from the derivatives of coal tar. What is coal tar? Coal tar is a liquid substance which is obtained from coal upon destructive distillation. So from this coal tar, we'll get different types of chemical substances. Okay, and when these chemical substances, these are also called as derivatives of coal tar. Okay, when the derivatives of coal tar, when they are treated with sulfuric acid, when they are reacted with sulfuric acid, we will get dyes and drugs. So in this way, so for the preparation of dyes and drugs, so sulfuric acid is used. Okay, right. Next, sulfuric acid also it is used in the preparation of acids. For example, in the manufacturing of acids, for example, uh, hydrochloric acid can be prepared. How hydrochloric acid is prepared? When metal chlorides, like for example sodium chloride or magnesium chloride or else zinc chloride or else any chloride, any metal chloride. Okay, when these metal chlorides they are treated or else they are distilled. Okay, they are distilled with concentrated sulfuric acid. Concentrated sulfuric acid. So when this mixture it is subjected to distillation. Upon distillation, what happens? We'll get a HCl. HCl is produced. Okay. Okay, that means during the process of distillation of this mixture, metal chloride, this is called as metal chloride. Metal chloride means maybe sodium metal or else maybe magnesium metal or copper metal or zinc metal or iron, any metal. Okay, any metal chlorides, when they are reacted with concentrated sulfuric acid, and this mixture, if it is this mixture is subjected to distillation, we'll get a HCl, hydrochloric acid. So in this way, hydrochloric acid can be prepared. Suppose if you take nitric acid, how nitric acid is prepared from with the help of concentrated sulfuric acid? So in this so by the process so here metal nitrates from when metal nitrates are reacted with a concentrated sulfuric acid, when metal nitrates are reacted with a concentrated sulfuric acid, and this mixture, if it is subjected to distillation, if this mixture is subjected to distillation, what happens? You will get nitric acid. Suppose if you use chloride metals, metal chlorides, we will get a HCl acid, hydrochloric acid. So if from metal nitrates we will get nitric acid. Okay, when metal nitrates are reacted with concentrated sulfuric acid, we will get nitric acid. When metal chlorides are made to react with concentrated sulfuric acid, we will get hydrogen chloride. Suppose phosphoric acid, H3PO4. How phosphoric acid is prepared? When metal phosphates are reacted with the concentrated sulfuric acid. Okay, so when this mixture, if it is subjected to distillation, if it is subjected to the process of distillation, we will get a phosphoric acid, H3PO4. So like this different acids can be prepared with the help of what? Sulfuric acid. So like this. So this is that means this is sulfuric acid. It is used to prepare other acids. It is used to prepare other acids like hydrochloric acid or nitric acid or phosphoric acid, etc. Phosphoric acid, etc. So like this. So that means if you treat metal nitrates with concentrated sulfuric acid, we will get nitric acid. If you treat metal chlorides with concentrated sulfuric acid, we will get hydrochloric acid. If you treat metal phosphates with concentrated sulfuric acid, we will get phosphoric acid. So like this, sulfuric acid helps in the preparation of different other acids. To prepare different other acids, sulfuric acid is used. So these are some of the industrial uses of sulfuric acid. Okay, now we will learn some general uses of sulfuric acid. Okay, so not only these are the important industrial uses. So the sulfuric acid can be used in different ways also in industrial use. So here only we have discussed about 5 or 6 industrial uses. There are so many other uses, other industrial uses are also present, but no, we are not discussing all other industrial uses now. Okay, right. Next, general uses of sulfuric acid. We have discussed about industrial uses. So already we have discussed. Now we will we'll learn about the general uses. General uses of sulfuric acid. Okay. So here actually in the general use of sulfuric acid, first use, if you see here, in the extraction of metals, in the extraction of metals, extraction of metals, okay, from their ores, from their insoluble ores. Actually, metals, they are present in the form, when they are present in the form of insoluble ores. For example, metal oxides, or else metal carbonates, metal carbonates. So from these ores, what we have to extract the metals. How to extract the metals, or else how to take out the metals, pure metal, from such ores, because these are insoluble ores. So initially what we will do, we will make these insoluble ores to dissolve in sulfuric acid. Okay. So when these metal ores are dissolved in sulfuric acid, okay, dilute sulfuric acid, we use what? Dilute sulfuric acid. So what happens? These metal ores, as these are insoluble ores, they will convert into soluble ores. So that means metal sulfates. They are converted into metal sulfates, which are soluble ores. So from soluble ores we can easily take out the metals. Okay. So now these soluble ores, okay, metal sulfates, they are subjected to electrolysis. When these soluble ores, or else when these metal sulfates, which are soluble ores, when these ores are subjected to electrolysis, finally we will get a metal in the form of pure metal. Okay, pure metal is obtained. So that means, so in this process, for the extraction of metals from their insoluble ores, we use dilute sulfuric acid. So this is one of the general use of sulfuric acid. Okay. Another general use of sulfuric acid, if you see, so in pickling of metals, in pickling metals. For example, if there is any metal, okay, so if you want to protect this metal, if you want to protect this metal from corrosion or else from rusting, so how to protect this one? In order to protect this one, so we have to give a protective coating on this metal. So the protective coating can be done by a process known as galvanization. Already we have learnt all this in metallurgy. Okay, galvanization, by the process of galvanization, or else by the process of tinning. By the process of tinning or galvanization, we will give a protective coating on this metal. Okay, so to give the protective coating on this metal, so this metal, actually that metal should have very clean surface. Unless this metal is having a clean surface, we cannot give a proper coating by either by galvanization process or else by tinning process. So that means for giving proper coating, so the surface of the metal should be very, very clean. generally the metals, they won't available, they are not, the surface of the metal won't be available in the form of clean form. So what will what are present, so this on the surface of metal, here and there you will find the formation of metal oxide, or else formation of metal carbonate impurities. So like this, so that metal, the surface of the metal, it is covered by impurities like metal oxides or metal carbonates, metal metal carbonates as impurities, on the surface of the metal. So we have to remove, we have to clean, we have to remove all these impurities. That means the surface should be cleaned. Okay, so how to clean this one? So when this the metal, when this metal, if it is treated with sulfuric acid, or else even with hydrochloric acid also. Okay, when these metals are treated with sulfuric acid, particularly dilute sulfuric acid, so what happens? So this dilute sulfuric acid will dissolve all these impurities, and finally what we will get? We will get a metal with a clean surface. We will get a clean surface on the metal. We will get what? Clean surface. Okay, so that means here this process is called as pickling of metals. Pickling of metals is nothing but the process of cleaning the surface of the metals, okay, to remove the impurities like metal oxides or metal carbonates. So why should we clean this surface of metal? In order to protect this metal, by making a coating on this metal. Okay, so when this metal is coated by some other metal, what happens? That metal will be prevented. It will does not get spoiled for longer time. Okay, so for that purpose we have to clean the surface of the metal. So in order to clean the surface of the metal, we use acids like a dilute sulfuric acid or also dilute hydrochloric acid, so that finally we will get a the metal with a clean surface. Okay, so this process of obtaining the metal with a clean surface from the metal which is having impurities on its surface, so this process is called as pickling method. During pickling method, what do? Simply we will remove the metallic impurities such as metal oxides or else metal carbonates from the surface of the metals. Okay, so that the metals will get the metals with a clean surface. Now this metal, the clean surface metals, they can be coated. They can be coated with either zinc or else some other metal by certain processes called as galvanization or else tinning. Okay, so like this. So that means in the process of pickling process, dilute sulfuric acid is used. Okay, right. And some more general uses we will learn now. Some more general uses, like it is used in the third general use. It is used in the lead acid accumulator or storage batteries. In storage batteries. Where do you use these storage batteries? In the motor vehicles like cars or else in inverters, etc. So actually here these storage batteries, in these storage batteries what happens? The chemical energy, it is converted into electrical energy. Storage batteries will convert the storage batteries will convert chemical energy. They will convert chemical energy. It is converted to electrical energy. Electricity is produced, or else electrical energy. Electrical energy is nothing but what? Electricity. Okay, to produce electricity from chemicals. So here the storage batteries are used. So in storage batteries, what do we use? We use a sulfuric acid. Okay, we use a dilute sulfuric acid. Dilute sulfuric acid. Dilute sulfuric acid having the density of 1.25 gram per centimeter cube. That means if you take every 1 centimeter cube of this acid, if you weigh the 1 centimeter cube of this acid, it should have the weight of 1.25 grams. Okay, such a such a dilute sulfuric acid can be used in the storage batteries to convert the chemical energy into electrical energy. Okay, it is also used in the lead acid accumulators. Storage batteries, or else they are also called as lead acid accumulators. Storage batteries, they are also called as lead acid accumulators. Okay, so in the lead acid accumulators, or else in storage batteries, this dilute sulfuric acid is used. So the density of dilute sulfuric acid which is used in these storage batteries or else lead acid accumulators, so its density should be 1.25 gram per centimeter cube. So then only, so here it what is this sulfuric acid will do? It acts as electrolyte. It acts as electrolyte in the storage batteries or else in the lead acid accumulators. Okay, as electrolyte, what happens? It will decompose. It will break down. Okay, it will break down, and the chemical energy which is present in this acid, so it is converted into electrical energy during the process. Okay, right. Next, another general use of this sulfuric acid is, it is used in the refining of petroleum products. In the refining of petroleum products. What is the meaning of refining? Refining of petroleum products. Refining means purification. It is nothing but the process of purification. So that means we will remove some impurities. If any impurities are present in the petroleum products, and those impurities can be removed by using sulfuric acid. So what are petroleum products? Petroleum products are nothing but the products which are obtained from petroleum, from crude petroleum. So when crude petroleum, it is subjected to very, very high temperatures. It is heated. When crude petroleum is heated to very, very high temperatures, that process is said to be destructive distillation of petroleum. During that process, what happens? We will get different products like petrol or kerosene or diesel, etc. Okay, diesel, etc. So they are every product is obtained at different temperatures. So this product is obtained at one temperature, this product is obtained at another temperature, and this product is obtained another temperature from the crude petroleum. So these products are obtained, and these products are said to be petroleum products. Okay, so when crude petroleum is subjected to very, very high temperatures, so at different temperatures, we will get different products, and these are all these products are called as petroleum products. So now, in order to refine, or else these petroleum products are obtained, but they are having some impurities with it. They contain some impurities when they are formed from the petroleum. They don't be in the pure form. Okay, so these petroleum products always they contain some harmful chemicals. So along with this, they contain some chemicals which are very harmful. Some other chemicals which are harmful chemicals are also they are obtained. They are mixed with these substances. okay, during this process. So now what we have to do, we have to remove these chemicals. These chemicals we have to remove, and finally we have to get this petrol or kerosene or diesel in pure form. Okay, so that means these impurities are removed. So how to remove these impurities? In order to remove these impurities, what we will do, we will this sulfuric acid helps us to remove these impurities. So dilute sulfuric acid. When these products are subjected to dilute sulfuric acid, so all these impurities, all these unwanted harmful chemicals are removed from this, and finally we will get pure petrol. That means without impurity, petrol without impurities, pure kerosene. That means kerosene without impurity, pure diesel, etc. Pure diesel, etc. So this process is said to be refining. Refining is nothing but the process of purification. That means the process of removal of impurities like harmful chemicals from petroleum products. So in this process, what this dilute sulfuric acid is useful. So this is also can be studied as general use of sulfuric acid. Okay, right. So one more use. We'll learn one more general use of sulfuric acid. One more general use of sulfuric acid. It is used, the sulfuric acid, it is also used in the laboratory. It is used as a laboratory reagent. It is used as a laboratory reagent. It is used as an important laboratory reagent, because sulfuric acid, it can react with so many different substances. As sulfuric acid can react with different substances. So many large number of substances can react with sulfuric acid. Hence, the sulfuric acid can be used to test these substances. So generally, different substances means generally different types of salts. Okay, to test different types of salts. So what salt is? If there are different salts, so with the help of sulfuric acid, we can identify those salts. Okay, we can identify those salts. So we have learnt about this thing in our practical chemistry. That means in ICSE part 1 we have learnt about how to identify different salts with the help of this sulfuric acid. Okay, so sulfuric acid can help us to identify what are different salts. So there are different salts. So which salt is this? Is it a carbonate salt, or else is it a sulfate salt, or else is it a bicarbonate salt, or else is it chloride salt, etc. So all those salts can be identified with the help of sulfuric acid, because most of the salts, they react with sulfuric acid. So now this sulfuric acid will help us to know what is the given salt. So the given salts can be identified with the help of sulfuric acid. So this process of finding out the given salt, what is that given salt? Okay, what that salt contains, either it contains carbonates or sulfates or chlorides or nitrates, etc. So this process is said to be salt analysis. The process is said to be salt analysis. Okay, what is salt analysis? Salt analysis is nothing but the process of finding out what are the what is the composition of the salts. Okay, with the help of sulfuric acid, we can do salt analysis, finding out what salt it is. Either it is a carbonate salt, or chloride salt, or sulfate salt, or phosphate salt, etc. So like this, in salt analysis also, the sulfuric acid is used, and this sulfuric acid is a good laboratory reagent. So like this, so these are some of the general uses of sulfuric acid. Okay, all right. So in the Next video we learn some more concepts like testing of sulfuric acid. Okay, so those things we will cover, because already it is a lengthy video, so 40 minutes video, so we cannot cover those now. We learn those things in the next video. Bye, Ma.